Well, I feel embarrassed to have missed the fact that in The Sims 2 there are 4 voice actors that voice adult Sims. For males, we have Dave Boat, that is the one that you can now see and hear on the screen. But we also have Stephen Kieran.
Islam, Aflakapa,
And he is one of the founding fathers of Simlish. Then as for females, we have Zoe Gallois, who sounds like this.
Jaiva, Mangtandi, and Danamase, and Aputanati.
And we also have the late Gerri Lawler, who sadly passed away in 2019.
Technambrino and Sloopy Dog, Fusham, woohoo! Oh, Fusham-a-lemma!
And I feel extra bad for having missed her in my previews because she wasn't just another voice actor. No. Not only was she a hell of a whistler, but she also was working on Simlish back in The Sims 1 along with Stephen Kieran, so you can find a very entertaining recording on Luckpic's home channel where Gerri and Stephen are doing some improv work for The Sims.
What's that cube over your head?
Honey, I have to use a bathroom.
I know, I can see what you're thinking.
I'm thinking about... what? You bastard.
What? I'm thinking of soccer.
You're thinking of Karen putting out the kitchen fire, aren't you?
No, I
You
don't
son
know
of
how
a-
you can say...
You son of a...
Ow! Stop that.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm gonna hi-ya you in a second.
You will not get...
And she was also the voice director behind The Sims 2. So you can actually find a very interesting recording where she is directing Phil Sheridan and Liz Momorsky as they are recording the voice lines for the Leap into Arms interaction.
You could show the strain a little bit when you put them down nice again.
Oh, you quiero soy. Oh.
Let's leave a little space to let this run through just here. So you're happy, everything's great. Oh, happy, little heavy, put down. Now, space, ah. So give her just a head nod space. You go again, Phil.
Well, it's you. Ooh, oh, Whoa! Your hair is
Perfect, we're moving on to reject, and this is really fun.
Then there is this hilariously bad, like Tommy Wiseau's The Room sort of bad movie called Suckerfish. And oh my, is this a treat. It stars both Gerri Lawler and Stephen Kieran.
It should be in that there's duplicates. Okay, well, can we send Sarah over to the New Montgomery office? No, it doesn't? Okay, well, what about Meg? Can we just send Meg over? Yeah, I know she's over at the Terraville office right now, but isn't that ending next week? Yeah, I'm sorry, it's just my sink is clogged. Oh.
Big Mac.
Hi, Big Mac.
Hello. Where's Miss Kitty?
Ooh, Miss Kitty went to bed about an hour ago.
Wake her up.
Oh, I can't.
Big Max wants to play.
Oh, I can't, Big Max. She had the sniffles. I think she's getting the flu.
Are you saying I'm too dominant? A lot to do.
It's about Dick.
I know, and that's why I'm saying that that maybe fruit will help you, because it has a lot to do with
Dick,
testosterone.
your husband.
Name's Ken Preston. I'm the new guy from Bauhaus. Taking over for Whitey. You okay?
And by the way, huge thanks to Loshideus from Sancta Sanctorum, because he was the one who pointed out that there are multiple voice actors for adult Sims. And when he told me that, I kinda had conflicting emotions, because on the one hand, like, cool, we have twice as much voice lines to choose from. But then, oh, there is twice as much work on my part to create all the previews. And my butt already feels like it's made out of steel. As you may have guessed already, I recorded the missing files for Gerri Lawler and Stephen Kieran for my Decorgal Talking Hack previews. So now, if we go to my sim file ShareNet, Decorgal Talk Hack, you'll be able to see 4 separate folders dedicated to each adult voice. And if we take a look at the previews themselves, you can now notice that the original adult Sims were wearing blue, so those belong to Zoe and Dave. And as for Gerri and Steven, their Sims will be wearing green t-shirts. So that is just for you to easier differentiate between the two when you're browsing through your folders. But can you tell the difference without my previews, like directly in the game? In fact, yes, you can, but you kinda need to know for a fact that there are two separate distinct voices. So the way that it works in the game is upon creation of a sim, for example in the CAS, the game randomly assigns one of the two voices. And so the easiest way then is for you to create a sim and then go to step 6 where we allocate different personality points and just randomly change one of them. I usually change shyness and outgoingness. And then just carefully listen to what the sim is saying. You just kind of have to rely on how well you know the voice. In this case, I know that this is Gerri Lawler, because she had this very distinct raspiness to her voice and some sort of aspiration to it.
Where way?
Now, if we want to get a different voice, we can just cancel this sim and try once again. Just keep in mind that since this is random, you may not get it right away. And so let's go to step 6 once again and try to change one of the characteristics. Yeah, this time we got Zoe. You can hear that it is rather higher in pitch and has like more jovialness to it. And it can be a bit more difficult for the male sims. But this time we got Dave Boat. So his voice is somewhat deeper than Steven's. Yeah, the red jacket is Steven now, and his voice is usually higher in pitch than Dave's. And let me know down in the comments which of the voice actors you prefer, either Gerri or Zoe, and Steven or Dave. One thing that I should also point out to you is that if you look up a sim in SimPE, you can find a very interesting value. It's called voice type. And apparently this value defines which of the two voices an adult sim will have when they grow up. However, there is some mysterious logic behind it, because as you can see I have 4 male test sims here, and all of them have different values in here, even though there are only 2 male voices. So if you know how this works, please leave a comment down below. That'll be really interesting to figure out. And you know, I think it's very fortunate that I found out this early on, because it would have been much more painful to add additional voice lines later when I have created a bunch more previews from other hacks. Speaking of which, I have started working on the next anime box, or rather anime painting, because it's Decorgal's Talk Sit and Hack. You can now download the male version voiced by Dave Boat from my C file share net folder. And like before, you have 3 versions to choose from: high res, low res, and sound only. Choose one or download all of them, whatever works for you. The next in order is adult female voiced by Zoe Galvez, and once I'm done with that, I will probably just create a community post. So stay tuned for that, and good luck simming!